Hi, this is Yolanda Harper with Life Renewal Counseling. Today's topic is speaking your child's love language. This presentation is based on the book The Five Love Languages of Children by Gary Chapman and Ross Campbell. The idea of five love languages begins with unconditional love. We need to fill our children's emotional tank with unconditional love, as opposed to conditional love, which is based on performance and is often associated with training techniques that offer gifts, rewards, and privileges to children who behave or perform in desired ways. Training and discipline comes only after the emotional tank has been filled. And after discipline, it's really important to reestablish a relationship. Speaking your child's love language means loving them on their terms. When it comes to the ages and stages of love language, in infancy, love is associated with physical touch, kind words, and tender care, what many parents do automatically. As they move into toddlerhood, children learn to love more actively. It's important to speak the different love languages so that they can understand that there are many ways to express love and try each one of them on for size. As children move into elementary school, their love language becomes more defined. And moving into the turbulent adolescent stage, be aware that teens who are raised with conditional love learn to live that way. When these teens are pleased, they please their parents. When they're not pleased, they frustrate their parents. Children who have full love tanks as they're moving into their teen years tend to be less angry, less resentful, and tend to act out less. So what are the five love languages? Love language number 1 is physical touch. Physical touch is a child's first love language. Babies who are held, hugged, and kissed develop healthier emotional and physical lives. Physical touch includes hugs, kisses, cuddling, sitting in the lap, a pat on the back, a light touch on the arm, and against a mother's best intentions, the roughhousing that fathers do with their children is very important as a physical touch. As children grow older, active physical sports such as basketball, football, and soccer combine physical touch and quality time. Physical touch is also very important when a child is physically and or emotionally sick or tired or hurt, or when something very funny or sad has happened. Conversely, if you use physical touch as an expression of anger or hostility, you can hurt these children very deeply. A child whose primary love language is physical touch can receive a hug given as they leave for school in the morning, and that could be the difference in their day between having emotional security or insecurity. That same child who receives a hug when they come home from school, the hug might make the difference between positive energy throughout the evening or a rambunctious effort to get your attention. The second love language is words of affirmation. The authors say that in communicating love, words are like a gentle, warm rain falling on the soul. They nurture the child's inner sense of worth and security. A child first learns to associate words of affirmation with love by associating the abstract concept of the words "I love you" with the warmth of physical closeness. True words of affirmation voice appreciation for the very being of the child. Other types of words of affirmation are praise for what the child does. Be sure that this praise is authentic and justified. Children can very easily sense the difference. Another form of word of affirmation is encouragement, which means to instill courage. An important question to ask yourself is, are my children receiving positive and loving guidance? An easy way to do that is to reframe don't messages to do statements. Instead of saying, don't run through the house, change that to do use your walking feet. And try to aim for a 10-to-1 positive to negative ratio when making comments to your child. It's important that the words I love you stand alone, not I love you but, or I love you, would you? That's a way to express unconditional love. Children whose primary love language is words of affirmation are exceptionally sensitive to what you say and how you say it, so quickly apologize for any negative, critical, or harsh remarks. Consider recording yourself so that you can hear how you sound to your child. If words or affirmation don't come easily to you, try keeping a notebook and make a list of what you hear other children's parents say. Children whose primary love language is words of affirmation say things like, I know that my parents love me because they don't yell and scream at me. The third love language is quality time. Quality time is focused attention and conveys the message that you're important and I like being with you. Children whose love language is quality time repeatedly request time together, so be careful not to see this as an intrusion. Quality time isn't about the event itself, but it's the fact that you're doing something together. So make pleasant, loving eye contact. Share thoughts and feelings through quality conversation and storytelling. The perfect time for quality time is during meals, overnight trips, or at bedtime. As children get older, a safe place to have quality time for the child is in the car. Children whose primary love language is quality time can easily feel neglected, so check in with them regularly and possibly plan special date nights with them. The fourth love language is gifts. In order for parents to truly speak the love language of gifts, other love languages must be given along with the gift. Be careful not to shower gifts as substitutes for other love languages. A child whose primary love language is not gifts will not receive the gift as a primary love language. For children whose primary love language is gifts, however, the importance to the child has little to do with the size or the cost of the gift. It's the fact that you thought of them. So wrap up normal items like new school clothes. Children whose primary love language is gifts delight in a wrapped present. They want your attention while they open it. They hug and thank you profusely, and then they make a special spot in their room for this gift. Children whose primary love language is gifts often question your devotion when a condition is given with the gift. So make sure that any gift that you give is a true gift, given without condition. The final love language is acts of service. Because parenting is a service-oriented vocation, acts of service is already part of the job. So again, use this love language in conjunction with other love languages. As children mature, they increasingly know what is being done for them and are also aware of what has been done in the past. As a child grows, they realize how much work it is to take care of a young infant. And so they realize that those things have been done for them as well. Acts of service can include fixing a bike, mending a doll's dress, helping with homework, making costumes, coaching a sports team, or chaperoning a field trip. Be aware that too much acts of service can cause a child to remain childishly self-centered. A child should do what he can in an age-appropriate way, and a parent serves with acts of service by doing what the child cannot do for himself. Parents who are too busy to teach their children how to do laundry or too much of a perfectionist to let them do it aren't loving their child, but rather crippling them. When disciplining, make sure not to use your child's primary love language as the primary form of discipline. It's important to feel your child's love language daily as you go along in your interactions with your child, but specifically before you interact with discipline with them. Also, reestablish the relationship after disciplining by filling your child's love tank with their primary love language. So how do you determine your child's primary love language? Several different ways include to observe how your child expresses love to you between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. Observe how your child expresses love to others. Listen to what your child requests the most often. Also, notice what your child frequently complains about. Finally, you can give your child a choice between two options, thereby giving you a better indication of what their primary love language is. Say, for instance, you offer to go on a date with your child or help them to make cookies for their friends, quality time versus acts of service. Whichever one that they choose, and choose consistently, is a good indicator as to what their primary love language is. Note again that a child's primary love language doesn't really fully establish itself until the elementary school years. Thank you for taking time to watch this presentation. If you have any questions, would like to schedule an appointment, or would like to schedule for Yolanda to come and speak to your mom's group, Bible study group, or PTA meeting, please call or email